Wait. I have to make her host.
All tested and all.
Yes, Joe, please join. And then you can start admitting.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. After a long time, we are meeting. Yeah. I request all guests to, anyway, video won't be starting. Yeah. Now we can talk. Happy World Forest Day. Joe, I sent you YouTube link. Please share with your friend.
Yes. Let me just post it on Instagram also.
We are on YouTube also.
आवाज येत नाही ना?
Can you hear, guys?
झालं
You
सुरू.
are audible? Yeah. Great.
Yes, audible.
Great. Hello. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just posting Instagram.
Please, good evening, everyone. Please close other windows if you're having any other windows open, because the presentation is going to be a little bit video and photos, so that the bandwidth won't take, it won't be slow, no? Please close other windows if you open. Yeah. I just
maybe Tanya over there.
என்ன பண்றேன்னு
yeah. So we start. Happy Forest Day, everyone.
Thank you.
So we'll wait 2 more minutes. Let them join everyone. Good evening, Venki. Good evening, everyone. Super. Good evening, Lakshmi. Yeah. Okay, guys, I think we will start now. Okay. let them, if anyone is coming, let them join. Yeah, it's a really pleasure to introduce Ms. Jyothy Karat for our Wildlife Conservation of India. Today is a Forest Day, so this session is going to be interactive session. It's not Jyothy will be presenting, we will be just watching. I will be interacting, I will be asking questions to her also in between. And end of the session, you can ask, if you have any questions, no, you can type it in the chat box and we will ask at the end of the session. This is, I think, only serious session. Maybe people who are interested to conservation and they are doing photography, they want to do amateur they want to start documentary and all. For them, it's going to be very useful. Please stay with us next 1 hour. And let me introduce Jyothy Karat. She is an independent filmmaker based out of Bangalore, and now she is doing documentary for China Global Television Network regularly. And she did lot of conservation documentary also, especially particularly her documenting in life in Nilagiri's biosphere, which has become a part of UNESCO global campaign for great initiative and also exhibited UN headquarters New York. So I have to thank you, Jyothy, today for joining us. Okay, really, I am looking forward to see hear your experience also. Please let us start, Jyothy, without wasting any time because already it's 4:05. Just tell us how, as a photographer to documentary filmmaker, the journey. How was the journey?
Okay, cool. Thanks, Radhika, and thank you, Wildlife Conservation of India and all its members for showing up and being part of this discussion. I really feel truly honored to have a audience who's interested in conservation and in storytelling. So
by demand, Jyothy, I have to tell you this session, everyone, I have lot of requests to invite you.
Oh,
so by demand, we invited and we got today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to show a small some of my pictures, like just to give you an idea of how my journey from being a photojournalist went into conservation filmmaking. Because I didn't start out as a wildlife photographer or a nature photographer of any sort. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, why am I not able to share my screen now? Sorry. Radhika, I think I'm not.
You can see no screen share.
Yeah, it's now saying host disabled participant screen sharing.
You are a host now.
No, I think. Yeah, sure.
Actually, you are a host, Joe. You can share now.
Yeah, now I am able.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Can everyone see my picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Super. Thanks. So so I do 3 things now, basically. That's filmmaking, photography, and communication strategy. Filmmaking, as you know, it's mostly documentary films that I do for China Global Television Network and other NGOs.
Okay.
But for in the news, in the media sector, it's mainly for CGT and it's broadcast internationally.
Okay.
But I started out as a photojournalist. Okay, so most of what I used to do was cover social issues, human interest stories. So I'd be covering mostly people for these newspapers and magazines, etc. So this man, for example, on the right that you see, was part of a Jallikattu story, shot in Tamil Nadu. The guy, the picture you see in the left, is from a controversial writer, also from Tamil Nadu. I was throughout my career, like, this as a photographer, the ambition was to be on the cover page, right? Like that was the biggest honor.
Yeah.
So in that way, like I've been quite lucky because I was able to. So this the caravan cover story was actually an expose on Shekhar Gupta. He was like the one of the greatest, most well-known journalists in India, and there was an
Right.
expose that was that.
Malas-
Sorry, it was. Then I've also had cover stories, done cover stories, investigative journalism for Swedish magazines, French magazines, even Israeli newspaper. So it's been quite a nice journey as far as photojournalism was concerned.
Okay.
But also along with the photojournalism bit, I was also a travel photographer. So I used to
Okay.
travel with Lonely Planet a lot. And also I used to shoot for Outlook Traveler, Destination, Singapore magazine, and all that. So I had learned to dive. I'd learned to climb. I could surf. So
Okay.
all of these things I was doing to kind of get ahead in my career and do better and better. So
Okay.
that was always there in my head. But what happened was, when I will go somewhere, like the picture that you see in the left, is a couple in Australia, in Kangaroo Island. So we used to like travel around the world and do these tourism, travel photography. And
Okay.
then I'll come back to India
Mm.
and I'll see a family who's struggling to just survive.
Okay.
That's the reality of our India.
Mm.
So again, like, a Chinese family holidaying in Thailand or somewhere in Southeast Asia, and then I come back to India, where our realities are much more grim.
Yeah.
So at that point, I kind of felt that I need to do something more.
Okay.
Just doing this photojournalism and travel photography was not enough. And I felt that I need to do more meaningful stories. And I wanted to do stories that I cared about.
Okay.
Not what an international magazine or newspaper cared about, or someone sitting in Delhi cared about. Because I was also very, like, because I'm from my mother's village is in the Nilgiris. I grew up here. So it was very important to me that stories that were close to my heart had to find a space in the national media and international media.
Okay.
So it was all a good combination, because I went to Philippines and I studied multimedia journalism at that point of time.
Okay.
Because media itself was making this transition from just print to new media, and
New
people
media.
were starting to do video.
Okay.
So I was lucky to find to study under some of the world's leaders on multimedia journalism and everything. So I had learned video also by then.
Okay.
And this opportunity came up with UNESCO, where they wanted to do this campaign and everything. So I was like, let's do something on Nilgiris, and that's where I started. And in the next 6 to 8 years, I did global campaigns for UNESCO from Nilgiris, from that biosphere. I did documentary films. So it's been like that. I was able to, with the power of video,
Yeah.
much more than just photography, because I could combine the both. And also used to write also.
Okay.
I was able to tell a lot of stories from the Nilgiris.
Okay.
So for me, that is one of the main ways that I transitioned from, photography.
Photographer to independent filmmaker. Okay.
Yeah. I did many stories. I used to do stories about sports and things like that. But what I felt was, when I was doing each of these films, the thing about videos, because you have to take so much time and effort in making a documentary film, you have to spend a lot of time with your subject, and there is a sense of urgency. Like, you feel like you're putting so much effort into making something. I feel like, I need to address the issues that are most urgent. And that always seemed to revolve around forests, conservation, wildlife, or human beings, like people who live in that ecosystem. So I was always drawn towards the rural parts of India than the urban parts. And also to subjects related to ecology than towards pure human interest kind of story. So this Mount and Chetties is also another documentary film I did on an indigenous community from the Nilgiris. So these are some of my stories that is very close to my heart.
Okay. Because you are from Western Ghats.
Yeah, I mean, I spent all my childhood vacations there, and I mean, I've been so much part of that fabric, and it relates to me very personally when that landscape changes, no?
Okay.
So you keep start thinking like, oh, after 10 years, is that forest going to be there, or is that wildlife going to be there, or your friends, your community, people who you know there, are they going to be able to survive? So all those things will bother you, right?
Okay.
So again, like elephant, also I'm basically from Kerala, and elephants are also very close to me and like close to our family as well. So that is again like a story documentary film that I had done, which is very close to me. My last this is my 13th film, documentary film in the.
That's a recent one, yeah. Yet to publish. Yeah, tell us about.
So this is
When the
my
ice melts.
80th
Okay, yeah.
film. And it's about climate change crisis in the Ladakh and how the people are dealing with it. So it's the film is not yet broadcast. It's still pending broadcast. So I can show like a small clip of it, like maybe like a minute or yeah, something about a minute I can show. But then and after that, like if you guys have any questions also, like please.
Yeah, very nice. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, just before we go to the clip, I want to show. Yeah, so this is the team, because I think someone was asking about how about the crew, size of your crew and everything.
Yeah.
This
We have a
is
lot of questions from fans also.
this is our team when we were filming in Ladakh in the peak of winters. That's sorry, Anushri, Praveen. Praveen is my husband, and myself. And yeah, okay, cool. I'll just show you the clip.
दादा दादी की टाइम में यार जो माँ नीचे तक पूरा हरा रहता है बोलता है पनी डाल के आजकल नहीं होता आजकल नहीं होते पनी भी बिल्कुल नहीं इधर बैठता भी नहीं उस टाइम पर गाय शाय बकरी बीड़ू सब रखता है बोलता है अभी पता नहीं मौसम भी चेंज हो गया है ना
हमारे गांव में बहुत सारे पानी का.
Is it not?
Not, yeah. When we testing, it was coming, no?
Yeah. I think maybe because so many people have joined, right?
Okay.
Probably because of. Then I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So, see, usually we say documentary conservation, photograph, filmmaking, and all. When we are talking about it, it sounds like very easy, but I know it's not easy at all. Okay. From selecting the subject, it's very, when you are talking about the government officials and all, it's very tough to open up also. And how you select your subject or theme for the documentary, Joe?
Okay. First, I will tell you about my team. Okay. So for the team, for me, two things are very important. First is that it's very important for us to be very small. Very small unit, because the bigger the your crew is, the more intimidating you are. Okay. And in most of the spaces that I'm working in, they are like rural places, and I also like to interview a lot of women and vulnerable populations. They are not comfortable with more people. Okay. So a small crew is important, and within that small crew, you need people who are who work very well with you. That's first and foremost criteria.
Important, yeah.
So when we three of us are in the field, we are like one single unit with who all of us can do everything. Okay. So if we are not stuck with like, okay, Anushri is a cinematographer, so therefore I will not shoot anything if she needs some help. I will also do some audio. Praveen will also do, like, so
Okay.
so like that we split our our responsibilities quite well with.
Yeah, I know. It's a production house means they have a whole team to research everything, no?
Yeah.
Because this whole session is for who want to be independent filmmaker, doing amateur photography, the serious hobby photography to do. They are visiting so many places these days. So
Right.
they want to do some sort. I think these days contest is also asking 10 minutes video and all, no? So a lot of international and national media also inviting for the documentaries, no? So we have young photographers, they have so much knowledge, they are exploring so many places, but they don't know how to go about it, how to select, that is the thing we are going to get all the tips from you. So minimum 2 people, because one person is not, you can't do it at least, you know? The
You
team should
can
be at least 1 or 2 photographers to
No,
start with.
you can. I have done a lot of my films, like very short docs. That is like under 8 minutes. It is manageable by one person.
Okay.
For that, you need to set up your equipment. You have to be very light. You have to be able to carry all your equipment by yourself. So those sort of logistical things that you have to keep in mind.
Okay.
And be even the location and everything needs to be comfortable enough, so
Okay.
if you are planning to shoot somewhere in Ladakh in the middle of winter, I will not advise you to go alone, and try this stunt
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
But if you're shooting a story in your city,
Mm.
or at a sanctuary close to your house, I mean, too close to where you live, then it is manageable.
Okay.
It's mostly the logistical planning and the logistics of setting up your equipment. That is the more important
Yeah,
part.
yeah. Now you are telling logistic, no? So what are the groundwork? As if I am starting any some one documentary film and all, no? Before shooting, before the actual shoot, what are the groundwork you do? At me, what are the important thing as a documentary filmmaker one has to do?
Okay, so before you actually go to shoot, there is at least 3 to 4 months of research.
Okay.
You do academic research, you do archival research,
Mhm.
and then, if possible, you start with telephonic, interviews. Like, you start
Okay.
talking to people who are familiar with the subject, or maybe even people you want to interview eventually. So
Okay.
you do all those groundwork first. Like, that research has to be done before,
Okay.
and then you go to the ground. So if you do as much as research as possible beforehand, then your shooting period, which is the most expensive time,
Mm.
that reduces, so you can
Reduce.
reduce the costs that way.
Okay.
But if you are no, if you don't research properly, and then you go there, and then you get all kinds of surprises, and it's India after all, like, you
Mm.
have nothing will work when you want it to work. you know
Okay.
People will show up after 3-4 hours, all kinds of things will happen. So the least you can do is do your homework and go there
Okay.
prepared.
So
So
usually you build first itself a synopsis, story, everything, or you go along with the flow. Once you started, then you start building the stories. So how it works for
um,
you?
with I do have I go with an idea.
Mhm.
So, like, say for example, I'm interested in lake pollution or water pollution in Bangalore. Okay,
Yeah.
so that I find myself. Actually, I'll show you. Like, you see all these books.
Mhm.
These are all my from years of noting, or making notes, and, like,
Mhm.
um, writing down things that interest me. So I'll find a subject that is consistently interesting me. If it
Okay.
doesn't interest me, I'm not going to,
That you can't give 100%. Yeah. If you
yeah,
don't believe, if you
exactly.
don't, it.
Yeah, it's totally like, I need to have my full heart and mind and everything into one story. Only then I
Okay.
can do it. So I make a note of those ideas, and then I look for a pattern. What is the issue that I'm most, consistently I'm reading about and I'm
Okay.
obsessed about. Then once I have that thing, I'd start doing research. When you do, like, maybe, like, if you a decent amount of research you have done, then you can kind of make a rough concept. You can write about it, like, it's a brief,
Okay.
and that is what I use to pitch to my editor, or a channel, or even for a grant or anything. So at that point, I tell them, okay, these are the people who I think I want to interview. This is the main character who I'm thinking that, would be a good character to tell the story and things like that. Because most of the time when you're doing a film on a larger issue, you don't know who will become a leading character, or
Yeah.
who will be prominent in your story. You can't tell that, but you give a brief idea to the people who you're pitching the story to.
Okay.
And also you make a list of the experts that you have to know even
Okay.
before you reach there. Who are the
Okay.
experts on the subject, because those are very important for a conservation film if you're making.
Film.
Those expert views are very important. So you do that. Then almost 90% or 99%, when I reach the ground in the field, I always find I'm wrong in many.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
aspects.
See,
Yeah, yeah.
conservation still it's very delicate topic going to authorities and other people. Are they really open up? How many days you have to wait to get any government officials to get a just bites, sound bites? I know for few things you have to wait so many calls, getting appointment, they make you wait. So how you manage? How we if I am going to do something like our audience viewers know how, what are the things they have to consider, how to approach Joe?
Right. For me, what has worked out the most is just being honest. Really, like So, I don't say that I'm doing something and go and do something else. And B, I tell them very clearly. You can tell me what you're comfortable talking about.
Okay.
I'm not going to force them. I'm not going to trick them into saying something that they don't want to say, or
Okay.
I don't want them to lie about anything. So when with that much, usually what happens is, if they are a lot of actually junior officials, they are very scared,
Scared, yeah.
because they'll be scared, like
To be on online, yeah.
yeah, and they also
Officially to give
yeah,
statements.
yeah, and they also don't know what is okay to say and what is not okay to say. So that is where their main tension comes from.
Okay.
So if you go to a higher up thing, so if you're going to a field officer, or if you're going to a collector, or if you're going to a minister, they're confident, like they have no this thing that, like, they're not worried that you will make them say something controversial, because they are very confident in what they
Confident.
want to say. So but the thing is, most of them will say only what they want to say. So no matter how you ask, what you ask,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
they will say exactly. But as far as I'm concerned, if you can get facts, truthful things from them, that is good enough. Because my intention is also not to show someone as a villain, or like some bad person. That is not my intention at all. I just want to know what is the truth, what is happening. So I think that the people can also tell, what is your real intention, like, are you trying to just make some masala, that and all they can tell.
Okay, okay.
So yeah.
So when you are pitching, this is the most very important and significant part of our any documentary. It's you can't not many of. If I am a big production house, then I can sponsor my documentaries. But if you are pitching someone, any other companies other than that, how you calculate your budget? Usually, how to calculate the budget? So you do go for tentatively, or how it will be? It will be, you don't know unless until you go the field. If you are visiting in the field, you have no idea how it will be, how you will can get a budgeting, and how you calculate, how you send pitch.
Okay, so for media organizations, 99% of the media organizations will have a budgets of their own.
Okay.
So unless you are someone like Attenborough, who can just give their own this thing, they will have a rate that they are which is the standard that they will pay. So if you are not sure about how much to charge also, you can straight away ask them what.
Please guys, please mute your microphone. Phone. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so they will usually have they'll have a rate card. They will say, okay, this is how much this is our budget for a cinematographer. This is our budget for editing. This is for reporter. All of that they'll have a this thing. So
Okay.
you can be very frank with them. You can tell them like, I don't know how to budget. Please send us your template. We will send you, and then you can charge accordingly. If something is not reasonable enough, so suppose their travel budgets are not enough, or some, if you have any problems with it, that also you can address to them, and they will get back to you.
Okay.
But even before you even go to the budget, the main thing is the pitch.
Okay.
You have to nail the pitch.
Okay.
You have
Then only you can start doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So what's your typical workflow on the field to desk? No one complete your documentary style, Joe. Minimum basic steps
Basic steps I usually
from
start.
storyboard to how it will be the workflow, how it will be.
So I don't start writing until all the shoot is done, everything, all the files, everything is organized. I've listened to or transcribed all the interviews. Only then I'll start writing the script.
Okay.
I never go with a pre-planned script ever.
Okay.
But I feel that is the problem with a lot of journalists also, because what happens is, because of the tight deadlines that people have, because of spot news and all that, they will start writing the script even before they've left home. So then what happens is, they have a pre-scripted idea, and in reality, even if it is different, they will still make the people tell what they want to be told.
Okay.
So then it's not truthful, no? Then
Ah.
not then I feel it's not ethical.
Someone was asking the questions. You said always you are getting real feedback, or you already set up all the things and all interview and all. No? We can't set up, no.
No, if you
Yeah.
set up, you can. I think I feel people are smart enough to tell you. They'll be
Okay.
able to tell that this is artificial. When
Okay.
things come from the heart and people tell truthfully, that also you can see the
So, for
difference.
example, 10 minutes documentary, so how many hours you usually spend? How many hours you shoot and the films and all? How many hours shooting you will come down to 10 minutes? No?
Okay, for a 10-minute film, you will need at least a week to 10 days.
10 days.
Of
Okay.
film. Yeah, 10 days maximum. I'm just keeping with like some buffer days as well. You'll need.
So, as a common audience, to be effective documentary joke, what are the features which has to be there? See, even conservation means usually the thing is, it's going to be a serious issue, no? It's not like beautiful things and all, no, people love and all. We have to bring the audience to watch also, and the concerned person, authorities also we have to show, and it has to reach more audience, no? So what are the things usually you expect and people expect to be in the documentary, to effective one?
Okay,
Things
so
as a filmmaker, what are the aspects I have to keep it in mind? I will put it in this way. Yeah.
right. So first and foremost thing that you have to think of is who's your audience.
Okay.
So if you are going to pitch your idea to a media organization, then you will need to have a very journalistic kind of approach. That's serious, sober. It has to be a very balanced account of everything, and that is what I do mostly. 99% of the time, that is what I do. But then there is an opportunity to do more creative conservation films as well. Okay. So it's not like you always have to do only the serious thing and all. You can make conservation films beautiful and poetic and very, very entertaining and interesting.
Okay.
So especially with all the social media platforms, and if you are ambitious, even OTT platforms, all of that, now there is one, I feel there is more opportunity now than ever before to do more creative work.
Yes.
And if you, even if you are like, even if you're in a college or if you're still a student also, doesn't matter. You can still do these short films as long as your content is strong. You will find a audience, like and not faff and things like that.
It has to be at least true to self. It should not be fabricated. Then only it will reach. Okay.
Yes. Research is the most important thing. Big organizations have everyone, even after you do the film and when you submit the script and all, whoever you are submitting it to, they will also have fact checkers. So if you had lied about some fact, or you were lazy or something, and you gave some wrong this thing, they will get back and they won't call you again. or they might even cancel that.
Yes, sir.
It's very, very important that you get all your facts right first. It's very embarrassing, you know,
Yes,
if
definitely.
they get back to you and say that, you know, this is wrong, what you have written.
You have to double check, not only double check, triple check you are going to make. Okay.
Correct, correct. BBC and all has the research assistants and research people only to do research before a film.
Okay.
You know, so they for them they have assistants and assistants.
Yeah. But as an independent, someone starting as an amateur type,
everything yourself.
we don't have that type of thing. Someone is doing a course and all. No? Some students are asking to what to study to become an independent filmmaker, because everyone wants to do. Sometimes without any basic studies, also knowledge, also people are doing filmmaking. But if anyone want to start in this field, other than conservation, overall wildlife filmmaking, conservation filmmaking, so what they to start studying? So any degrees?
So I would say first, I mean, you can go to either two ways. Either you can go and join an institute, which will be very, very expensive, or you have to get a scholarship or fellowship, like how I did. I got a fellowship, and that's how I studied multimedia journalism and video in that.
Okay.
But otherwise, generally, film institutes are very expensive, and you have to spend a couple of years also, no, doing that.
Okay.
The other ways, a lot of my friends who have done that also, is that they have just bits and pieces. They have gone for workshops. They have learned from YouTube, and they have worked. They have assisted other filmmakers, and they have learned.
That is the best way, easiest way also to learn in the field. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the most effective way, because even after you go and study in some institute, that field experience
different.
Right? So so if you can kind of find a good mentor and work under him or her, and also parallelly study online, you know, go if there is any workshops around you, do that. That is good enough.
Okay. So what is the best gear? Someone is asking, I think from Vikram, best gear for wildlife filmmaking, documentary filmmaking. These days with 4K, even DSLR also people are making films, no?
Yes.
But BBC, like big broadcasting, they do accept our DSLR video.
No, so that is the unfortunate part, because all the media organizations are moving. They don't. They have these specification. They have a minimum criteria. So you have to go with that criteria. So you can't just say you shot 4K in your phone and that won't be acceptable.
Won't be acceptable.
You know, that is the unfortunate part of things, because if you are serious about it and if you want to pitch it to big media platforms, you have to invest some money and you know, into buying these equipment. So right now I feel the 2 cameras I feel is like good cameras, which is not as expensive as the Reds and RE and all that.
Okay.
There's a Canon C70. It released last year, just a very good video camera. And a Sony A7S III. I prefer Sony A7S III. It's not that, I mean, I am a Canon person, so I feel the color science of Canon is much better than A7S III, because after you do the film, you have to do color grading and color, you know, all the color corrections and all. And Sony has on green cast, which I don't like. So I prefer Canon. So Canon C70 is pretty good. And you invest in good lenses.
Okay.
You know, have a 24-70 or a 24-105. You know, that sort of like, so you can use it for all your verite shots. Verite shots means, like, you know, that's the scenes that you cover, right?
Okay.
Those are called verite shots. So for that, you need like a decent zoom lens and fast lens. And for wildlife, actually, Radhika, you will be better. But,
lenses, definitely prime lenses and zoom lenses. Now these days with wide angle also we have a lot of you need, and habitat shot you need wide angle lenses. Okay. And mid range also zoom also, say 80 to 400 at Canon 100 to 400 and all. You need 2-3 lenses to big mammals and all. Zoom lens is must. And if you are going for small birds, then it's a prime lenses. But overall documentary, other people photograph it, 70 kit lens is also okay. But sometimes you need good 70 to 200 people pro lens is very important.
If you can
There.
hire a 100 the Canon's 100 macro lens, that is great for interviews. But if you know what is a great budget lens, and it's very underrated, is at 50 50 1.8. If you have, you get very beautiful shots.
But Joe, so if you're hiring big equipment, big lenses and all, we have young photographers also. They can start practicing with DSLR.
Yes.
If it's a good, they can go upgrade and for the higher. If they can hire then big cameras and all for documentary.
Yes.
Just for practice with the DSLR itself, these days they can do it. Just for the YouTube and all.
Yeah,
super.
You can do this setup. It's just like a DSLR. It's a 5D Mark III.
Okay.
And have a lens, have a decent lens. This is a 24-70, but even if it's a kit lens, you use a kit lens and use a small mic on top, because cameras audio is very bad. So yeah, this is good enough. If you are not planning to broadcast it somewhere or sell it somewhere,
just to start with, to practice the process, how to make documentary and all. No? Do you use drone also, Joe?
I do only when it is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. So because once a drone came about, like everyone is shooting, whether it's required, not required.
So must.
Yeah. But
because see, if you are telling high-end cameras and all, we have young photographers. I do get lot of queries, madam. I want to do documentary. How to do it? No, with their actually with the DSLR 4K they can try. If it's really effective, they can start doing. Nowadays, it's you have all your social media to broadcast and all. If it's a telecasting, if it's a good, then they can go for. No, it's experience.
Correct.
Experience. Yeah, not everyone having high end, and sometimes they won't get budget also. They're doing from their pocket.
Yeah. No, so for that, what you can do is you start with a DSLR, or whatever camera that you can you have access to. You start with that. Develop your pitch. Okay. Then with that pitch, and you show make a small cut and show what is the visuals that you are seeing, and then you tell them, you give me money for development as a development cost, or like as an advance. Then you can people give you grants, and people give you funding, which is just called the development cost. They'll give you that money, and then they will give you money for production. So you can split it that way. So you don't have to go ahead and first only go and buy a Komodo or RE or anything. That you can show in this what you can shoot. With that you show and convince them that you have the talent and the skills to do it. Then they'll give you money, and then
as a documentary filmmaker, what are the basic skills one has to do? Editing, editing, you have to know editing also, because it's very tough. Someone has to do editing otherwise. But as a 2-3 people team, you know everything, or filmmaking, even videography to editing and script writing, content copywriter. So what are the basic qualities one has to have, Joe? To learn also skills, you can say skills.
The main thing is you should have that ability to listen really well. That is the first skill to have.
Great.
To be a good listener. Then you have to be good at researching. You have to do all your reading. Many people, students especially, say, I don't like to read this, that, and all. I'm like, no, if you want to be a serious documentary filmmaker, you have to read. And then you have to write. I'm not a big fan of writing at all, but I will do it because it's required for my work. So you have to think of it's like being an athlete, no? You have to train. So like that, you have to train. If you are not fast,
you do voiceover also in a documentary, Joe.
Yeah, no, that is because for news media, they require you to report. Because they won't allow anyone else to do the voice like that. But otherwise, you can hire, like if you are doing a more creative thingy, you can always hire a voiceover. Even for editing, you can hire someone to edit. So I closely work with a video editor usually. Just the last film I've edited myself. So it's very important to be a jack of all trades also.
Ah.
You know, you can. So if something doesn't work out, I always know what needs to be done to fix that problem. So that
most of the filmmaking comes on editing table, no?
it does, but
After
you have
shooting.
to be, no, when you are shooting also, you are building a story, right? So you need to know what is it that you need to ask these people in the interviews to get that proper narrative in the script later, because you can't go back and shoot something again, especially if it is something like, you know, far away.
Can't go back, yeah.
To get and all.
So when you are telling like this, we know how to go about it, selecting team, equipment, all the things and all. No? But what is the challenges? Yeah, unexpected. Sometimes it's a big challenges. No, some every step. No, any particular challenges they have to be ready to face in the field. Are you come across any challenges?
Yes, it is. It's physically very difficult, Radhika, to be in the field. No,
okay.
It is not easy at all. In fact, when we were in Ladakh, my cinematographer was just recovering from a ligament tear. Okay, and then we are going from. She's coming from Calcutta. We are going from Bangalore. In Ladakh, it was minus 17 degrees Celsius. Okay. We are not at all comfortable with cold weather or anything.
Okay.
And it's so cold, extreme temperature. We don't have time to acclimatize because the main characters were going out of town in a couple of days. So we had to go. So we landed in Leh, and in just one day we got to rest. And immediately we went to a even higher altitude. So it's very, very taxing. You can't breathe, and you have to climb up, and you have to go. I
know. Ladakh, Sikkim also, it's a high altitude. No, you have to carry all the equipment also.
Yeah, exactly. So even if it is in the Nilgiri or whatever, I've done stories in Assam, I've done stories everywhere. We had to go out and camp. Like we are walking 10 kilometers, crossing river, walking, then camping there in a tent. So if you're very particular, you have to have this kind of food, have all the comforts of your home. That and all will not work at all. You have to be fit. You have to go with an open mind. Be ready for any kind of situations.
Okay.
So that way it is quite challenging. Yeah.
Okay. And we are getting. We'll take a questions from the audience, Joe.
Sure.
The first question is: as a conservationist, we learn how important it is to start early to capture and teach becoming generation on climate change. Do you think some regular art and photography competition at school on such topic helps? Few years ago, a leading photography magazine called Your Shot. If such happens in school, do you think we get a chance to be a journalist or wildlife conservationist? I think.
Go ahead.
You just tell.
No, I think everyone should be for storyteller.
Yes.
I think now is the time where you're in such climate change crisis. You don't have an option but to be really involved and fight for these.
It's for everyone.
Everyone.
Climate change and all. It's not for some conservationists or not for some wildlife photographer guys. We have to be care about. We have to consider. It's for everyone.
Exactly. And if I think children are the best storytellers. Yes, I think if we can have them tell stories about forests and these issues, then that's the great.
I think I would like to add one note, everyone. We are Wildlife Conservation of India planning a lot of programs for the school children. Maybe once school started, no, we will going to implement a lot of. We are going to schools to implement talk about create awareness about conservation, everything, no, like drawing. So many things we are working on it. Hope we will reach more students also. Someone is this from YouTube. Can you please say some information on investigation journalism? I don't think you did investigation journalism.
Well, actually, everything that you do, no, like when you do a documentary film, it is like an investigation.
Investigation, yes.
Because you start with a issue that you are interested in, and you do have you do read reports from academics or journalists of what has been already talked about. but then you will find stories that no one has ever reported on.
Mm.
So those are harder to do, and those are, even if it is a known subject also, to find a angle which no one else has found. So that is like an investigation, and
Okay.
best way to go about it is just to talk to local people as much as possible.
Possible.
You know,
Yes.
as much interact with them, spend time with them. Really, like, yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, that's why I think Rudresh was asking how to convince people to cooperate for the documentary. Basically, how to educate them that this documentary is for a case.
For that,
Yeah.
you tell them why you are doing the story, right?
Mm.
So if you are doing a story about water crisis in Ladakh, okay, you
Okay.
tell them that I am here because I heard this. Now I want to hear how it is affecting you. And
Okay.
people like me are there back home who also don't know what's happening. So we want to know your voice, and this is a way for the world to see you and hear your story. So usually that works. Yeah.
And the usual documentary, two types of, I think, different types of documentary style, Joe. Like we are finding the problem, and we are the cases also, what's happening, and the solution also sometimes we do give. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
usually how it works, your style of documentary, how it helps. Of course, the Nilagiri biosphere is very useful, the saying, no? Usually as someone wants to do something, or like a lot of these days, like forest degradation and habitat loss, so many things going on around us also, like man-animal conflict. So someone wants to do documentary about this, no? So how we can go about it? The solution parts, it works. If it's successful, how usually the format we can do?
So I am mostly drawn to solutions, and in a lot of cases, I hear about the solution first, and then I look at what was a big issue there,
Okay.
like that also. But the tragedy in most cases is, especially something as big as climate change, is that there is no one glove fits all kind of solution.
Yes, yes.
Not like, you make one ice stupa and world's climate change issues as this thing have been resolved, or you save a forest or a community in Nilgiris, and the landscape is
Each is different thing. Each issue has to be approached different way. Yeah, conservation is a broad term, and each conservation issue has to approach has to be brought different approach.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but my hope is that if you shed light on the good people who are doing something about it, if there are people, then you show that these people are trying something. Then I think the role of the filmmaker is to be an educator and spread awareness about that subject.
That is there should be a main thing, creating awareness about even normal, common people also.
Exactly.
Not
So
only the concerned authorities and common people. Yeah.
Correct. And then for me, a good outcome will be if an organization or even individuals take up that cause, and if whoever it is, if it is within their capacity to contribute, then they contribute to it.
Okay.
So that will be for me the best kind of outcome. It doesn't happen always, but even if someone asks me after watching a film that I made, if they ask me what can I do about it, for me that's a great thing.
Yes, great. So you are planning to do any workshop, Jyothy? Because I think just talking itself, no, even online by webinar, online workshop, it won't help. I think by the conservation or documentary filmmaking and all, at least 3-4 days as a field workshop, it helps how to go about it, from story selling to how to write the content writing and all the things, the workflow, no? It should be good. If anyone is interested, it would be good, no? I don't know, many people are giving, I think in Chennai, Mr. Segar Dattari used to give a workshop in documentary, conservation documentary filmmaking. Other than that, I hardly see. Everyone is teaching wildlife photography workshop, photo tour, but this type of workshop I hardly see. You are planning to do any workshop, Jyothy? Let us know. I will be the first one to enroll.
We'll plan.
Because we need more conservation documentaries, no? We need more things. See,
totally.
we already take a lot of beautiful picture. If you ask, I think more than India, we have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 India wildlife photographers posting all the beautiful photographs. Beautiful photograph both हो गया. we have to create
Right.
awareness. Because how many days you will get these beautiful photographs? We have to say the forest and wildlife, so many things, no? So create awareness. We need more people into conservation photography also. And India people are very less people are doing it, and documentary also we need more people, young people has to come for this field, no?
Yeah.
So I think it will be great if you have any conduct workshops and all. Let us see any other create. We do create awareness, but how to help at grassroots level for true impact?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what you need, what I would suggest is find organizations that is that you have access to. I mean, which is close to where you live or something, and give your time, volunteer there.
Yes.
So I volunteer. I mean, I go to this organization called Arosha in Banerghatta. It's in Bangalore. They're an international organization. They've for 15 years they've been working for the conservation of elephants.
Okay.
They do human elephant mitigation. But even despite being in Bangalore, very less people even know about Banerghatta forest.
Yeah.
You know, go there to volunteer. Like, you know, so there are you have to commit your time. Okay, some people will be able to give money, donate money, and help.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is one way, but not everyone has money to donate. So then donate your time.
You can contribute
You
your
have,
time.
no? Yeah, you have weekends at least. So, and not just go one weekend and come back and over. Not like that.
You have to give at least monthly 1 or 2 weekends, no? Great.
Yeah, you have to give a long term, like, you know, sustained commitment you have to give for these things. So that is a good way for you to educate yourself also, and also give back also.
And the Venki is asking, whom should we approach with the pitch?
So usually you have to pitch. They'll have a email. Most organizations, they'll have a email that they give out, which says to which you are supposed to send a pitch. Once they see your pitch and they like it, and you have to be prepared for rejections or no reply at all. So if you write to 10 people, maybe one person might respond to you. That is the kind of response
But concert is also should be a little bit unique. No one has done before. No, if everyone is doing tiger, that is a less you will get reply.
Yeah.
Okay, it
And
should
also,
be unique pieces and unique or new places, new issues and all. No, it's not be covered before and all. Then it should be very impact.
Yeah.
And one more question we got. How important is the duration of documentary? Sometimes shorter can be better. How do you choose its duration?
Duration for me, honestly, is based on how much time I have for the show. Because the show that I make my films for, it's a half-an-hour show in prime time, Saturday prime time, 9 p.m. show.
Okay.
So it's only a half-an-hour show. So I can't make more than 25 minutes of the film, because they'll have ads also. That's a maximum that you can have. So yeah, so that is determined by the project. Also how big your issue and content is. So if it doesn't fit also, they'll break it into episodes, and those kind of things will differ. But I would seriously say, like, start making shorter thing. Make 5 minutes.
Usually people say, no, Jyoti, first 3 minutes is very important. You have to tell the powerful message. First 3 minutes you have to make them. They want to see your documentary or any film. Then only they will watch continuously. You know?
Correct. Yeah, very true.
The introduction is big. Yeah. Next questions. We already what are the kind of ethical challenges you face? Lakshmi is asking. Ethical challenges.
Ethical challenges, I think we've covered already. Oh, okay. One thing that I didn't talk about is biases. So in documentary filming, documentary films, it's very important to balance any issue that you read. So you have to show the for and against in an argument in your film. So what happens is, how much ever you try to be neutral and everything, you will have a bias. So, but at least you have to be aware of that bias. What are your biases? How can you fight against your own bias, and those sort of things is very challenging to this thing, especially if it is subjects that's close to you, or you've grown up with a certain worldview and then you see something else. So all these things affect in how you judge things in the ground. So yeah, so you have to kind of leave your judgment back at home. Don't take it with you when you go out in the shoot and when you meet people, and meet people with an open mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
super, super. And it's very informative session, Jyoti. If we have any more questions, yeah. Thank you, Jyoti. I think that's it. We covered almost all the questions, and very informative session. Even I also came to know so many other things. We are just telling 10 minutes story, and so many things we have to do as a groundwork. So many things, no. And I'm really looking forward to your Ladakh documentary also. Please, once it's released, just tell us. Okay.
Yes.
I would like to show you. And thank you very much for today's session. And you are busy, I know, doing a lot of work and regular documentaries, but still you spend 1 hour with us. I'm really thankful to you. Thank you everyone for today attending. I hope it is useful. People are, that's why I don't want to promote much, because this is for only serious people who want to do wildlife filmmaking and conservation issue. I hope the people are really interested. They attended today and we covered all the topics. Of course, 1 hour only, this much only we can cover. If you want to learn documentary and conservation filmmaking, maybe Jyoti will have one workshop. We can all attend. Okay, field workshop. Really looking forward to that, Jo. And
Sure.
happy Forest Day once again, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And guys, we have, I would like to announce small thing. Wildlife Conservation of India is doing WCI, Water for Birds challenges. And Instagram and Facebook, I posted. Even group also I posted. Please do challenge your friends. Otherwise, you don't want to put picture also fine. Keep small clay bowl in your balcony or terrace or anything, no? So water for, we have more than 30 species of urban birds. So please do small thing, like someone is telling, how we can contribute. This is a small thing we can do for our birds, urban habitat birds. And for everyone, happy good evening. And hope we will see next session, next interesting with speaker, interesting session. We will soon meet soon again. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jyoti. Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Jyoti.
the best wishes. All the best wishes. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
We request everyone to end the sessions.